Welcome back to Andersen Acres. We're inside today with ducklings. What's happening on the farm for our weekly roundup? Ducklings, that's what's happening. Our cute, adorable little ducklings. So we have had ducklings in the incubator for a month, and now they're finally hatching. This is actually hatch day, and I wasn't sure I would catch them on the video today because I thought maybe they would hatch a little bit later. But so far so good. Everyone is doing really well. There's a couple of ducklings resting because they freshly hatched, and a few of them have been hatched for a few hours, so they are up and moving around. So far, I think we have 7 hatched out of the 11 eggs. One of the eggs pipped and died, so we actually only have 10 potential eggs. One of the eggs I do not think is going to hatch. I didn't think it would hatch at lockdown. It looked a little questionable, but I left it just in case. So we are probably going to end up with between 7 and 9 ducklings when this is all said and done. So right now we have 7. The one has pipped, the one that's out right now did pip through a blood vessel. So ones that pip through a blood vessel are always a little bit questionable because you never quite know if they're going to make it. So for sure we have 6 good healthy ducklings. We have one that is recovering from pipping through his own eggshell and pipping through that blood vessel. And when that happens, sometimes things don't go great. But we will see if he makes it. He'll either make it or not. In other egg news, we have an incubator full of quail eggs because we want more quail. So that's like 4 dozen quail eggs in there. Most of them are going to be sold. We're not keeping them. Garbage bag full of discarded eggshells because I pull the eggshells out to give them more room. Ducklings are kind of big, so yes, garbage bag full of discarded eggshells. We have down here, we have our turkey eggs. These are our Ridley Bronze and our Blue Slate hatching eggs. They are in there. This incubator is currently empty because these eggs got moved to the bigger incubator that I don't film very often because it's hard to see. But those eggs got moved because I'm going to be putting eggs in there shortly. Not on camera, but you'll see them by next week. And so that is what's happening in hatching news. Ducklings, quails, turkeys, and there are going to be chickens going in there shortly, so I had to move the other guys. But that is what's going on in hatching news. Stop eating the goobers from inside the egg. That's so gross. Anyway, that's what they do. That's just what they do. So let's head on over to the baby barn and see how the young birds are doing. Here we are at our brooder. We have little guys, big guys, all kinds of guys. Some of these guys are getting evicted later today. So some of them will show up outside next week in the roundup. Some of them, like that little guy, obviously have to stay in here a little while longer. But for now, we're good. Everyone's looking good. Everyone's looking happy. We have silkies and quail in here. So they are all going to look fantastic. Some really beautiful birds, and we're really glad to have them. And everyone is doing well. We haven't lost anyone. We lost 1 quail and 1 turkey this year. So far, everyone's survived. At least everyone we've kept on the farm. I have no way of knowing. People who've bought chicks have not told me they've lost any. So I'm assuming everyone's chicks are good. But technically, we have an excellent survival rate, even with the quail. So a lot of people talk about quail kind of suck, but ours don't suck. Ours are pretty good, surviving pretty well, looking healthy, looking happy, bothering each other. We're about to evict a bunch of them. But let's go outside and see how the quail are doing outside. So quail are doing fantastic. I'm standing in the shade, and that's where I'm staying. It's actually a wicked hot day. Now we have truly hit summer. It's July. We had kind of a slow start to the summer, but July sucks. It's going to be hot. August will be worse. But the quail are doing really well, and I have had people ask how the quail handle the heat. They actually handle the heat really well. They do quite well in the heat. It's not really that big of a deal for quail as long as they can get out of the sun. So they need to be able to be in the shade. So there's a whole bunch that are already upstairs. I can see them through the window. You might not be able to, but I can see them. They're upstairs out of the sun. Probably see them walking around. But they're upstairs out of the sun just so they can stay cool. DK. DK's going that way. Let's wander over here and check on our rabbits. So we have our females, of course, in this pen. We really like the black otters. You can probably tell we have a thing for black otters because we have these three lovely ladies. We quite enjoy the black otters. There's a couple more in the, if you go over here, you might be able to see a couple of more back there. I think we've got 5 in here right now because behind me we have Deli, who's also in the shade. One thing we like about being near these trees is by the heat of the afternoon, all of this is in shade. But for now, it's a little bit sunny over here. So she's back here behind this house. Let's see how many of her babies are in here. Nope, they're all underneath. We can probably see them. Yeah, they're under here. There we go. They're all under here, all of them, because they can be, because it's hot. So they're all hiding under the house, which is normal in this kind of heat. So now I've driven a couple of them that way. But it's normal in this heat. They kind of burrow down into the dirt because then they are able to stay cool. Someone had asked if we were going to be breeding Deli again. Yes, but in the fall. We are not breeding her to have babies in July. It's just too hot. So the earliest we want our outdoor bunnies to have babies is like end of August, beginning of September kind of deal, just because of the heat. Baby bunnies don't do well in really hot temperatures. Let's seal that back up. Go over here. See if we can see our boys. They're probably also mostly hiding from the heat because it's getting hot. So we got a couple here. We got Bonnie. We got a couple of buns over here hanging out doing their thing. But generally, they are pretty hardy, but they don't like the sun. And I don't blame them. It's actually really hot. So as soon as I stand in the heat like this, I'm in the heat and it's oppressive already. So those boys are there. One of our boys got sold this week, so there's one less boy in here, but he's about to be joined by another boy. So that's what's going on with the buns. And DK is back in the shade because frankly, it's hot. It's morning still and it's freaking hot. So yeah, definitely got a little bit of heat. Let's check on Shadowfax and Arwen. Also, Jake is coming. Jake's coming. So let's go check on Shadowfax and Arwen. So Arwen's hiding in the barn because it's freaking hot. So she's hiding in the barn. I don't blame her at all. She's doing well. She's bedded down in her sand. She doesn't want to get too hot, so she's out of the sun. Shadowfax, who we're pretty sure is impervious to all weather, is out here doing his Shadowfax thing. Hanging out, being a pony. He's doing excellent. I know he didn't appear too much on film this week. That's because I was filming other things. But here he is, doing well. He is looking really good. People are asking me if he's too skinny or if he's too fat. He's actually neither. Hi, sweetie. So people were asking if he was either too skinny or too fat. He's actually neither. His body condition is pretty darn perfect. So when I say body condition, I'll talk more about it in a specific video about pony body condition. But you should be able to feel his ribs but not see them. And you can tell you can't see them. But if he'll even let me right now, you run your hand... He's like, get away from me, Mom. But if you run your hand down his side, you can tell he has ribs. So he's not like chubby. He's just Shadowfax. He's in excellent shape. She's in excellent shape too. I had mentioned that in another video. She is in fantastic shape. And Jake here is a very tiny cat, very much like her mom. So if you're wondering why Jake's so little, it's because Jake's very little. But yes, everyone out here is doing fine. You notice who we haven't found? The dogs. Let's go see if we can track them down. Found the dogs. They want to look outside, not be outside in the afternoons here. This is still late morning, but it's about to be afternoon, and it's oppressive outside already. it gets really hot. We're located between two big lakes. It gets really, really humid. So the dogs are camping out in the house. It's hot, okay? It's really, really hot. So the dogs are here in the house, not wanting to be anywhere near the heat. So, yeah, what are you going to do about it? I also wanted to answer a couple of questions. One person asked me why we don't see more of the cats on the weekly Roundup videos. And the answer is, Whiskey's outside, by the way. Whiskey's about to come in, I think. But I've had people ask why we don't have more cats on the weekly Roundups. She's looking on a dish for me. Why don't we have more cats? They're cats, and I can't control where they are. Today we did see both Jake and DK. We don't see Jake all the time, so the fact that she was here is pretty good. DK we see fairly often. He's a pretty social cat. But the other cats, sometimes we see Damien and I catch him on camera. Sometimes we don't. Same with Moustache. Gwen we see regularly, but don't know where she is right now. I think she went outside. Magic is asleep on Rowan's bed. And the other, Bowser, is in Neverland. I don't know where Bowser is. I'm not even going to guess. Somebody else had asked why we don't see more of the adult chickens on the weekly Roundup. It's because it's really, really hot outside. Like, really hot outside now. And as soon as the sun hits the sky, these guys, the birds, they make a beeline for the bush. It is so much cooler in the bush, under shade, laying in the dirt, laying in the, breaking down leaves. It is so much cooler that as soon as the sun hits the sky, the birds hit the bush. And because we are still in wood tick season, I'm not going to go traipsing through the bush to find them. However, we will see more of them come the fall when they're sticking closer because it is really, really hot. We're, like I said, we're between two giant lakes, so not only do we get the heat, we also get the humidity. So as cold and miserable as winter is, I actually prefer it to the crazy heat of summer. So mostly everyone's staying inside because they're hot. Anyway, that is about it for us here today at Andersen Acres. We're going to stay out of the heat, and I hope you're staying cool too if you're in an area that gets pretty hot in the summer. We'll see you tomorrow.